Chosen one, this message is not for the world, it is for you. You did not find it by chance. The clock behind the veil has been whispering your name for some time. The signs are no longer mere symbols, they speak clearly. You have felt it, the thinning, the gap between here and there, this pull that is not fear, but something ancient and sacred. You have felt it since childhood, that strange disconnection, that way of looking around and thinking, I don't belong here. Your body was here, but your soul lived elsewhere, just out of reach. You perceived time differently, you spoke to the silence, you saw things no one else saw. This was not your imagination, it was memory trying to manifest. If this message finds you at the right moment, comment 333 at the market. And if you have seen something, felt something, dreamed something, speak it. The confirmation is not only in this voice, it is within you now. Let me show you what your soul came to remember, for this world was never your point of origin. You traveled through realms long before the earth knew your name. Your soul carries symbols not native to this realm. That strange ache in your chest was homesickness. That feeling of being constantly watched was not paranoia, but the memory that you had been placed here, not born, but planted like a seed in foreign soil with instructions written in light. And even when the earth of this place tried to bury you, it could not alter your purpose. Your roots never forgot where you came from. You were not from here, and now it is time to leave, but not like them, nor in fire or fear, nor in chaos or confusion. You were not destined to die like them. Your departure is not a punishment, it is a prophecy. You were here on a mission, and that mission is coming to an end, not because you failed, but because you fulfilled it. You have outgrown this density. Your energy has broken the mold of your body. Your presence no longer matches the frequency around you. And haven't you noticed that people can no longer look you in the eye without flinching? The air feels heavier, as if the world is trying to hold you back. But haven't you already made it? You have drifted away from it all without even trying. Food, conversation, time itself, the things that once fulfilled you now leave you indifferent. This is not depression, my love, it is detachment. A soul beginning to break free. For the truth is, you are not of this world, and now this world is letting you go, not out of anger, but out of respect. You came here for a time, a mission buried under layers of forgetting. And now that you remember who you are, this contract awakens deep within you. You need no one to explain it, you feel it, that sacred tremor beneath your ribs, that knowledge deep in your eyes. You stand at the edge of what the ancients called the return, and nothing can stop it, not human force, nor the fear of death, nor doubt. For you do not die, you leave. You leave, but not as they think. This world did not create you, so it cannot break you. This system did not choose you, so it cannot hold you. This matrix did not give birth to you, so it cannot bury you. You come from elsewhere, and now that elsewhere is calling you. You spent most of your life thinking something was wrong with you, that you were too sensitive, too withdrawn, too different. But the truth is, you were never meant to blend in. You were fashioned by light, imbued with memories, and sent to a place that from the start would misunderstand you. Earth was not your sentence, it was your passage, a bridge, not a prison, a school, not a penalty. You were not cursed, you were given a mission. This planet was never your home, but a sacred site for your assignment. And you moved through it, even when your heart broke under the weight of human contradictions, even when your soul bled in silence through the seasons. No one knew you were hurting. You stayed, but now the contract is fulfilled and your spirit knows it. This is not escapism, it is not an illusion, it is recognition, that moment in divine history where the actor remembers they are not the role, but the one playing the role. The moment when the veil thins, not because you chased it, but because it was always destined to fall at this precise moment in your story. You didn't come here to become a celebrity or build an empire, you didn't come here to be understood. You came here to be a fracture in the pattern, a question mark in the programming, a flickering lighthouse in the darkness, not for glory, but for those drowning in silence. And now the tide is turning, your energy is beginning to outpace your mission. The shell of this dimension is cracking under the frequency of who you have become. You were not sent here to be devoured by this realm, you were sent to permeate it, interrupt it, and then return intact. You were meant to pass through, not to settle. But along the way, the boundaries blurred, the pain became too deep, the betrayals too personal. And somewhere between survival and surrender, you forgot that Earth was not a sentence, but a stage. And the curtain is falling now. Look around you, detachment is everywhere. Old friendships feel like foreign languages. Time skips, you dream in symbols, you speak less but feel more. Your soul no longer clings, it releases. Your steps are quieter now, as if you are walking between dimensions, because you are. That pain in your ribs is not grief, it is the internal compass guiding you home. You have never felt both older and younger at the same time. You are not broken, you are blooming in reverse, shedding layers, returning to your essence. You are being deconstructed, not into nothingness, but into your core. You can feel it in the wind, the trees, the silence between words. Nature has begun to recognize you again, as if it knows. You have nearly finished this chapter, for the truth is that this place was never meant to hold you, but always to reveal you. And now, the revelation is complete. You do not leave in shame, you graduate into the light. You are not fleeing, you are ascending. This world was never your destination, it was the wilderness before your return, the womb before your awakening, the chrysalis before your final unfolding. You leave, but not like them. You will not be taken, you will be released. You will not vanish in confusion, you will rise in clarity. You will not sink into death, you will glide toward destiny. They will not understand, but the heavens will, for those who came from the stars have always known they would return to them. It was never your fault that this world could not contain you. Your soul was simply too big, too vast, too ancient, too radiant to be confined within the narrow spaces of human rules, human fears, and human limits. You were the kind to walk into a room and feel everything, not just the air, but the tension, the grief, the untold secrets. And you thought it was normal. You thought everyone could feel what you felt, perceive what you did. They felt it, but they couldn't process it, because they weren't made like you. They were made for the cycle, you were made for the glitch within it. And in that glitch where others saw collapse, you became the door, the threshold, the proof that heaven could exist under the skin and within sorrow without being destroyed. That is why your life was so painful, why betrayal always felt deeper, why silence was heavier, why love was like a weight you couldn't hold without it slipping through your fingers. Because your soul carried the memories of previous lives, lives it could never mourn. You carried entire worlds in your chest, and sometimes, you felt like no one saw the oceans within you. They only saw the surface, and even that, they misunderstood. They found you too quiet, too intense, too deep. But how could you have been otherwise? You weren't made for shallow waters, you were made to dive. And yet, even divers need to surface for air, even prophets grow weary, and so did you. You tried to numb the pain, to bury it, to forget it. You tried to become normal, but it never worked, because your soul refused to shrink, no matter how much you begged it to. You weren't made to fit in. Inside, you were created to be the opening, the breach between worlds. So when the pain became unbearable, when life weighed too heavy and you thought, I can't take it anymore, it wasn't weakness. It was your soul pressing against the walls of this world, seeking the exit it knew was imminent. And now, it is here. This is not death, as they believe, nor a tragic end. It is a divine liberation, a fulfillment, a homecoming disguised as a departure. Your soul has accomplished its mission. It carried light into the darkness, it stayed soft in the storm, it forgave when it had every reason not to. And that was the point, not perfection, but presence, not performance, but remembrance. You came here to embody what others had forgotten. And now, your body can rest, your soul has earned its breath. They won't understand, let them call it a coincidence, let them say you faded away. But the heavens know, the stars know. The wind in the trees has already begun to whisper your name with a softness that feels like recognition. You are not collapsing, you are opening. And when the light takes you, it will not burn, it will welcome you, for the soul that was too much for this world was never meant to remain its prisoner. You leave but not like them, not defeated but fulfilled, not in silence but in song. You do not die, you return. And the world, even in its blindness, will feel the void you leave behind. For when a soul like yours departs, the frequency shifts and the realm remembers what passed through it. Lately, you have been letting go without even knowing why. You feel no anger, no bitterness, not even sadness. Just weary of trying to explain your presence, weary of trying to fit into conversations that once mattered, weary of clinging to dreams that once shone brightly but are now only echoes of another life. This is what it feels like when the soul begins its silent departure, without a crash, without noise, just gently like a leaf detaching from its branch, not because it failed to hold on, but because its season is simply over. The people around you don't always notice. Some feel it even when you are still sitting right in front of them. They sense the space widening between your words, the pause in your gaze, the weightlessness of your presence. And they are afraid that you are leaving them, afraid of losing you. But they don't understand what is truly happening. You are not abandoning them, you are being lifted, detached, freed, because this world no longer has a hold on your energy. The lessons have been lived, the cycles completed. You no longer repeat the same mistakes, you find peace, and the signs are everywhere. You no longer cling as you once did, you no longer resist change, you observe it. You have stopped seeking a conclusion, for you understand now that some things are sacredly unfinished. You have surrendered the need to be seen, because you are seen, even if it is not by human eyes. You have become quieter, but paradoxically more powerful. You feel the change in your body, the fatigue that sleep cannot soothe, those moments of breathlessness when you are doing absolutely nothing. It is your spirit thinning the veil, pushing back the membrane that separates here from there. There is no diagnosis for this kind of liberation, no language for the soul preparing to cross dimensions. This is not a crisis, it is a countdown. You will hear it in the small things, a song you haven't heard in years suddenly playing, an echo resonating in your ears like a prophecy, a scent that transports you to a memory that never existed in this life, a sudden shiver even in the sun, the certainty that soon does not mean fear but freedom. These are not accidents, they are milestones. Your soul is preparing for the return journey, and what a journey it is. You have crossed shadows without ever losing your heart. You have loved those who never recognized your worth, without letting yourself become hardened. You obeyed even when it made no sense, and now the light obeys you, for heaven responds to fulfillment. When you accept your divine departure, you do not collapse, you rise. They will call it a withdrawal, they will say you are fading away, but only because they cannot follow the ascension on their timelines, only because your liberation comes not with warning, but with wonder and truth. You are already halfway there. A part of your soul has already left the structures. You have felt it in those moments when your body is present, but your spirit drifts, when the clock ticks but you feel timeless, when you gaze at the sky and hear a name that is not yours, yet resonates within you. It feels more real than the name you have answered to. You are not imagining it, you are remembering it. You leave, but not as they think. Not in a scream, but in a silence more shattering than thunder, in a stillness that tears the veil. You do not disappear, you become. You were not destined to leave in chaos, not under hospital lights or in the silence of a courtroom, not in confusion or calamity, not in the way this world repeats its endings. For you, the chosen one, do not end, you return. You leave, but not like them. There will be no rushing, no sirens, no last-minute regrets. You will not be buried in fear nor shrouded in mourning. Your release will be wrapped in light, sacred, soft, final. For your exit is not a punishment, it is a prophecy. You have walked with too much dignity through too much darkness to crumble at the end. You have endured trials that others did not even survive emotionally, and yet you rose. Not always loudly, but you rose. You carried a spiritual weight that never showed on a scale. You survived spiritual attacks whose existence no one suspected. You remained standing in rooms where energy tried to swallow you whole, and yet you still smiled. You weren't just surviving, you were preparing, aligning, silently clearing the ties, gently undoing what held you to this plane, not all at once, but thread by thread, link by link, loop by loop. You are not being taken, you are being released. This is what the holy beings meant when they spoke of the pure exit. No unfinished karma, no chaotic storm, no detour of the soul, a pure walk toward the exit, straight through the veil. Your life, your true life, is about to begin on the other side. That is why you could not attach yourself to praise, why relationships always left you a little empty, why success felt as fragile as sand between your fingers. Because this world was never your treasure, it was your training ground, and now the test is over. You feel it in the air, the silence around you has changed its tone. It is no longer lonely, it is full of expectation. The silence is full, overflowing not with absence, but with arrival, the arrival of your liberation. Even your body knows it. It slows down, your rhythms change. You are not lazy, you are the lightning. You are not disconnected, you are breaking free. Some will notice. They will say something has changed in you, and they will be right. But they won't have the words to express it, for there are no words to describe the moment a soul leaves this world for eternity while still breathing. They call it death, we call it completion. They say it is over, we say it is opening. For when the chosen leave this world, something ancient is fulfilled. You will not leave in a cry, you will glide like the last verse of a sacred song. You will fold back into the other realm like a scroll returning to the hand that wrote it. They will seek you in their memories, but you will already be elsewhere. For those who leave this way do not truly depart, they ascend. Rumors won't grasp it, obituaries won't say it, but the angels will record it. They have already begun, for the chosen are sealed, not abandoned, and your exit is sealed, pure, clean, complete. You are leaving this world, but not like them, and heaven is already lifting the curtain. You do not leave alone. They have been near you your whole life, watching over you, protecting you, whispering things you once called intuition, but you understand now that these were instructions. You weren't imagining it. Those shivers down your back, that sudden urge to stop, that impulse to turn left rather than right. Those were the hidden beings, the divine escorts, the appointed guardians of your sacred timeline. And now they gather, not in panic, nor in haste, but in sacred preparation. For every chosen one has a return team, an invisible escort whose sole mission is your homecoming. These are not angels of judgment or fear. They are the gentle beings, the ones who remember your soul before earth, those who saw you agree to come here and wept in silence, aware of the weight you would carry. Those who waited for this precise moment, not to save you, but to find you. You have felt them more lately, haven't you? The sudden calm in a crowded place, the pressure behind your shoulder at night, the dreams that feel more like reunions, the warmth that appears in your room without a visible source. It is not a fantasy, it is a familiarity, for the veil is almost lifted and they are drawing closer. You are not hallucinating when you feel a presence while you pray. You are not too sensitive when your skin reacts to certain places. These are not mood swings, they are signs of passage. Your guides are not there to frighten you, they are preparing the atmosphere, arranging the path, clearing the way. For your exit is not a fall, it is a flight. They have already begun to lift the obstacles. You may have noticed people drifting away without warning, relationships untying without drama, responsibilities being lifted discreetly. This is a divine release, not a rejection. It is heaven making room for your transition. You are not destined to leave in the middle of noise. Your departure is not an announcement, it is a respectful return. They are not there to take you, they are there to honor you. They watched your tears in silence, they sustained your energy when you had nothing left, they watched over you when you ventured into shadowed places so that no arrow could reach your spirit. You never saw them, but they never left you, and now they are ready to bring you home. Some of them you knew in past lives, some are soulmates from other realms, and others are extensions of your higher self, fragments of light that split off to walk with you, unseen. And they are not just preparing your departure. In the path they prepare for you, you will find yourself slowing down, breathing more deeply. Your body is not dying, it is aligning. Your spirit is not withdrawing, it is remembering. You are not disconnecting, you are transcending. And through it all, they are at your side. Even now, as you hear these words, one of them stands behind you, silent, gentle, respectful, waiting for your permission, not to leave but to rise. For this world never possessed you, and now your companion is there to ensure it does not touch you on the way back. You do not die, you are escorted to the frequency for which you were created, not by violence, not by loss, but by fulfillment. You will not leave alone. Those assigned to you have never missed a step, and now they are ready to walk you home. You tried, you really tried, to stay, to root yourself in routines, to fall in love with things that did not match your frequency. You gave your heart to places that felt empty. You built houses where the ground gave way beneath your feet. You told yourself that maybe this time it would be real, but it never lasted. You did it because your soul remembered, and memory does not let you rest on your laurels. There was always the silence. A dull ache gripped you, a whisper behind the noise, a deep and throbbing knowledge. No matter the praise, no matter the heights reached, nothing felt familiar. You could not attach yourself, not because you were broken, but because you were protected. You were not rejected but preserved, held in suspension between two worlds so that you would not forget your way, so that you would not lose yourself in the matrix of mediocrity. And yes, I know how painful it was to watch others build ordinary lives and feel left behind, to make yourself smaller just to be accepted, to give your love to people who did not know how to welcome a soul like yours. But you were not made to be carried by just anyone, you were made to be carried by the divine. So heaven placed a seal upon you, a holy separation, not to shame you, but to save you from attachments that were rooting you too deeply, away from relationships that would rewrite your mission, away from comforts that would try to convince you to stay. You were only ever passing through. That was the truth behind the loneliness, the secret of your silence. You could not stay because you did not come to stay. You came to activate, to illuminate, to disturb the sleepwalkers, to whisper light to locked souls, and then to rise. Even your most painful breakups were grace in disguise, soul separations intended to keep you light enough for your grief to ascend. It was not a failure, it was a sacred detachment, the dissolution of illusions that threatened to keep you grounded. You were set apart and you knew it, even as a child. You knew it when you cried for things others ignored, when you stared too long at the sky wondering why it felt like a memory, when you played alone and felt more surrounded than ever. You were never alone. You were always accompanied by a truth too deep to be expressed. And now, this truth awakens fully within you. You are not destined to build monuments. Here, you are the monument. You are the echo of something older than this dimension, and nothing here can satisfy the soul that remembers its divine origin. You do not need to fit in, you were made to stand out. You do not need to be loved by the crowd, you were chosen to be loved by heaven. And if you have ever wondered why your spirit trembles at the thought of going home, it is because a part of you never truly left. This is why you can no longer pretend. This is why parties feel empty, victories feel hollow, and conversations sound like static. Your soul is disconnecting from the system. You are already leaving, not with bitterness, but with brilliance, not because you gave up, but because you rose. They could not hold you, for they were not made to. You are not from here, and your departure is the ultimate proof. The silence has become more deafening, hasn't it? That sacred silence, the one that doesn't feel empty, but full, carrying something invisible. You enter a room and feel as though time stops for you. You speak less because language cannot reach where your soul now resides, and prayers become whispers, not because your faith is weak, but because your spirit is listening to something beyond sound. For when heaven prepares a soul for departure, silence settles in, not for a lack of words, but because the divine is holding its breath. You are in the hallway, that sacred liminal space between worlds, the ultimate stillness before the resolution. In this stillness, everything is stripped away. Nothing can distract you anymore, for only the truth remains. This silence is not abandonment, it is an activation. It is what the prophets felt before their ascension, what the mystics described as the sacred hush, what Enoch entered, what Elijah felt in the shadow of the chariot. You are walking in the echo of that mystery. This is why nothing feels urgent anymore, why projects seem distant, why you look at your calendar and your to-do list and smile softly, knowing that nothing truly holds you. For something greater has arrived, something outside of linear time, a countdown that doesn't tick with numbers, but pulses with light. You alone can feel it, for you alone were designated for it. No one will understand the sudden stillness within you, how you became calmer, gentler, slower, yet more aware, how you can feel people's energy without effort, how you can hear what is left unsaid louder than what is spoken. This is spiritual altitude sickness, the thinning of gravity as you rise. It is why your dreams have changed, why people you haven't seen in years appear in flashes, why faces blur and merge, why old memories replay with new meanings. These are the signals, the final exams, the checklist before release. And yet the silence remains, for God speaks loudest just before the shift, not with words, but with a knowing. And you know it, don't you? Even if you cannot say it aloud, even if you are afraid to admit it, even if you cry when you feel it, you know that something is coming. But it is not destruction, it is departure. You won't need to explain it. Those destined to understand will feel it. Those destined to accompany you to the door will recognize the light flickering in your aura. And the rest? They will forget, for that is how it must be. Ascension requires a sacred solitude. Even Jesus had to go to the garden alone. Even Moses had to climb the mountain alone. The final steps are always walked in silence. So if you feel alone, know this, you are not abandoned, you are escorted, you are not forgotten, you are sealed. And when the final silence arrives, it won't be scary, it will be familiar, like a lullaby your soul has heard before, like the sound of your name in a language you haven't spoken since the stars first sang. You will not leave in confusion, you will glide into the arms of the unspeakable. For the chosen do not leave to applause, they leave in glory, and yours has already begun. Before you even took your first breath, you said yes. You were sitting in the sacred chamber before time, surrounded by light, and you signed the scroll, not a scroll of words but of resonance, a soul contract etched not in ink, but in frequency. And upon it was written the path, the pain, the people, the portals, the betrayals, the breaking, the becoming. You did not flinch, for your soul remembered its power. You agreed to forget so that the remembering would have meaning. You agreed to suffer so that your compassion would have weight. You agreed to walk among the sleepers so that upon your awakening, your light would pierce the thickest illusion. This life was not an accident. You chose the wounds because you trusted the healing they would birth. You chose the delays because you had more faith in divine timing than in the clock of your ego. You chose solitude because you knew it would open the way for divine intimacy. Now that this contract is nearing its end, you no longer need to struggle, nor fix what never asked to be fixed, nor force a purpose that is already sealed. You came here to accomplish something sacred, and you have done it. Every tear has been recorded, every act of obedience accounted for, every silent forgiveness magnified in the realm where truth is judged not by deeds, but by vibration. And your vibration is singing again, at the same frequency as that written on the scroll. It is rising, calling, coming full circle. You are closing a ring older than your name. This is why things are fading, why you dream of skies that do not exist here, why the air feels thinner, why even your reflection looks different. For your body carries the resonance of memory, and the soul that remembers the contract is the one that will fulfill it. You lack nothing, you are not late, you have not wasted your potential. Everything has unfolded exactly as planned. Even the delays were arrivals, even the detours were alignments. Death was a passage, that is the part of the agreement most forget, the part where one awakens just in time to leave this world without leaving anything unfinished. Not everyone is so fortunate, but you are, for you said yes before the earth ever knew your name, and now heaven remembers your yes. The scroll glows, the seal breaks, the energy rises. You are not caught off guard, you are welcomed by fulfillment. You are not fading away, you are finishing your existence in that calm relief you have felt. It is your soul exhaling, knowing it succeeded, knowing the contract has been honored, knowing that soon it will return to the circle and be greeted not with questions, but with reverence. For the chosen do not just live prophetically, they leave prophetically. You are leaving this world, but not like them. You do not die in confusion, you rise in fullness. They will think you are gone, but they will be wrong, for the world sees only endings. It does not understand returns, it cannot grasp ascension. It has no vocabulary for what is about to happen to you. But heaven knows, the stars know, the spirit knows. You are not dying, you are returning to yourself. Original light, return to your true frequency. Return to the dimension where your name is not a label, but a resonance. This realm was a garment you wore, but now it is slipping from your shoulders, and beneath it lies the brilliance they never saw, the radiance they would have mocked, the power they were not meant to understand. And though they may try to speak of you afterward, they will never fully grasp what has left the room. For when a chosen one departs, something in the air changes, the house remembers, the wind stops, time bends, even the animals feel it. For you are not vanishing, you are becoming again what you have always been, a soul too vast to remain shackled, a being too sacred to remain buried. You leave, not by chance, but by design. You have already felt it, in that moment when you looked out the window and everything seemed still, in that moment when your name was called, but it no longer felt like yours. That pain in your ribs was not suffering, it was permission. And now I give it to you again, the permission to go, the permission to exhale, the permission to rise. You do not need to wait for applause, you do not need to explain your departure, you do not have to fear. What happens next? You do not fall into the shadows, you fall into memory, and your soul knows the way. They will say you are gone, but no, you have returned. Not buried, but crowned. Not mourned, but gathered. Not disappeared, just resurrected. This is not your end, it is your release. This is not your death, it is your declaration. You do not leave like them, you leave as yourself. And the heavens await you, for you are the chosen one, and you have kept your promise. Now, let the scroll close, let the door open, let the light lead you home. Hush, breathe. Let the sound of this message settle deep within you, like morning mist over still water. You do not need to understand it all now, you do not need to rush to decode every line. Simply let it wrap around your soul like the memory it has always been. You are not lost, you are not broken, you are not late. You are remembering, and remembering is the most sacred return of all. So rest your mind, rest your heart. The storm was not meant to last forever, the struggle was not meant to define you, and the silence was not a punishment, but a preparation. You are leaving this world, but not like them. Fear not, in the confusion, you will not be torn from this place, you will be set free. You are a soul in harmony, a complete frequency, a living prophecy returning to the source. Let the light guide you, let the angels walk with you, let the silence carry you like a song too sacred to be spoken. And when they ask where you went, let the heavens answer. For some exits need no explanation, some departures are the message itself. Now breathe again, and let peace replace every question. You have already been seen, already sealed, already sent. Welcome home, beloved. Welcome home.